Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Survivor Talks with Mike. Today we'll be covering Survivor 43 episodes 8 and 9. I was sick last week and didn't really have too much to say about the episode, so I decided to combine episodes 8 and 9 for this week. So let's start with episode 8. For our recap, we got, starting at the Gaia camp, we find out that Dwight gave Jesse Janine's idol before going to tribal council last episode. This information would have been better placed last episode, I think, but it was still a neat reveal. The Majority Alliance wants to target Owen next, as they feel he is the biggest threat outside of their alliance. Owen gets a confessional where he talks about his upbringing. I thought he was very articulate and was definitely about to win an immunity. We go to the immunity challenge. Jeff offers the tribe a chance to sit out in exchange for Rice. He says the established price is 5 players, and he won't negotiate. I don't know when this was established because he's never asked for 5 players. It's been 4 the last 2 seasons and 1 in a previous season. James tries to tell Owen that he is protected and so he should just sit out, but Owen doesn't buy it, and they manage to get 5 people anyways. Ryan tries to rest the pole on his forehead, which I thought wouldn't be allowed, but it doesn't work out anyways, so it doesn't matter. And Owen does indeed go on to win. Back at Gaia, Ryan wants to get the vote decided right away. They decide Janine is the easiest vote out, and then he goes out fishing for the rest of the time. Sammy doesn't want to be locked into the Majority Alliance, so he is willing to work with the bottom dwellers. They will still need to find others to join them in turning the vote against Ryan. Carla and James seem open to it, since they can't strategize with Ryan when he's always fishing. Cassidy doesn't want to see another woman voted out, which I'm glad someone acknowledged this, since 5 women have already been voted out at this point. At Tribal Council, Owen talks about wanting to just be a part of the majority this vote, which is a hint to what is to come, as Janine is still voted out, with Cassidy being the only person to vote with her. My thoughts on Janine: she seemed to have a tough time out there. I liked her personality. She seemed sweet and quirky, but she just couldn't get anything to go her way the entire time. It was like Charlie Brown out there. My review for this episode was okay, but I felt the vote out was really a letdown. It wasn't surprising for Janine to be voted out, but I felt they set up a really nice narrative for why Ryan would be voted out. Strategically, it makes more sense to vote out Janine, as Ryan isn't really a threat, but it seemed like his refusal to strategize would burn him, and him wanting to be the provider but also not sitting out for Rice made me feel he wasn't being the best provider he could have been. Otherwise, the episode was good. I liked the setup of Owen winning immunity, and though I thought it would have been better served in the previous episode, the reveal of Jesse having Janine's idol is still pretty cool. So I give episode 8 a score of 7 out of 10. Seeing as episode 9's already come out, I won't do any predictions, but I will say I did actually get a few of them right, but it's not worth sharing at this point because who knows if I'm telling the truth or not. So we go on to episode 9. We start the episode with Owen mad that James told him the wrong person to vote for just before Tribal Council. He only voted correctly because Gabler clued him in that the vote was going on Janine. James tries to talk to Owen, but he doesn't want to. At the challenge, we go straight to the immunity challenge, where Jeff informs us that they will be split into 2 groups of 5, each with their own immunity and their own tribal council. They are still competing against each other, however, as the winner will get PB&J and gets to go to tribal council second, so they're still going to be trying their best to be the last one standing. For the blue team, the last player standing is Carla, who was very impressive, managing to win even with an injured hand. The red team, however, outlasts Carla, so they get PB&J, with Cody winning their immunity. The blue team had both James and Owen, who obviously want each other out. James has Carla, but Owen has Noelle, who has a steal vote, and Sammy, who is with the Majority Alliance, but wants to make something happen. So I immediately figured James was going home. On the red team, everyone was from the Majority Alliance, so they would have to turn on each other. Cassidy and Ryan have been wanting each other out since the tribal stage, so those are the targets, with Cody and Jesse really getting to choose which direction they go. So we'll start with the blue team. James and Owen have a big blow up at the well because James won't give Owen a name to work with him, and Owen sees right through that. James doesn't want to work with him. James wants Owen out, and everyone else agrees to it. But really, Noelle and Sammy want to turn against James. Noelle says she will steal Owen's vote so that he can't even play his shot in the dark. But really, it is to get James's guard down and vote him out without him using the shot in the dark. It's an interesting move, though maybe a little bit overcomplicated when they have the numbers and could just as easily just steal James's vote, but it's still interesting. Sami wants to go through with voting out James, but only if he can get Carla on the same page. So he almost blows up the plan by telling her. But surprisingly, Carla is okay with voting him out since he's gotten too much power. Over at the red team, Ryan tries to be the one calling the shots and seems to think Cassidy is an easy vote out. Cassidy seems to understand that it's either her or Ryan, so she tries to plead to Cody and Jesse. Cody and Jesse understand that they get to choose which direction to go, but they want Gabler in on it too. They decide that if James is voted out, they will vote out Cassidy. But if Owen is voted out, they will vote out Ryan. I didn't understand their logic for that, and I don't think that they did either, as we'll see later on. At the Blue Tribal Council, things get heated once again between James and Owen. They can't seem to cooperate with each other to the point that they can't even be in each other's vicinity any longer. Before the vote, Noelle does end up stealing Owen's vote and uses it to vote out James 4-1 with everyone turning on him, including Carla. My thoughts on James: he seemed like he was going to be a really strong player, but he got a little bit too ahead of himself and felt too comfortable in his position. I am interested in how he'll be as a juror because he really took the vote out hard, it seemed like. Onto the Red Tribal Council. They are surprised to see James voted out, which according to Jesse and Cody's plan, that should mean that they will vote out Cassidy, and she gets a lot of time to talk, which really painted it as her getting her last words in. They then go to the vote, and surprisingly, Ryan is voted out unanimously. So my thoughts on Ryan: he seems like a really nice guy, but really bad at Survivor strategy, which should have meant he never got voted out because I don't think his game would have been respected enough to win. With that said, as a viewer, I am much happier to see Cassidy still in the game over him. My review for this episode was a great example of why it doesn't really matter that the vote out is a little bit obvious. The James vote out was entirely telegraphed, while the Ryan vote out was more shocking. And with that said, I think the James vote out was much more intriguing. I also like that the knowledge is power advantage is back out of the game without being used, so hopefully it stays out. I give episode 9 a score of 9 out of 10. My predictions going forward: I think these two vote outs helped open up the game a lot more, since the majority alliance was very broken up from this vote. Even though Carla took a hit by losing James and Ryan, I think she is still in a good position, but I do think everyone else's position also just moved up a little bit. Sami seems like he's doing great since he keeps getting away with playing both sides, but I think he will turn out to be the final boss of the season that someone else has to take out now that James is gone. That's all I got for these two episodes. I'm sorry that I had to push it back another week, but I enjoyed the second one a lot, and I think that going forward, we're going to have a really good season. So thank you for watching. If you liked it, hit like. If you want to see the next one, hit subscribe.